Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Live with Janome and our Artistic Digitizer Basics and Beyond. I'm Anne Hein, Embroidery Software Specialist for Janome America. And let me get the camera going here. We'll get rid of all of that. Let me bring this up here. There we go. So today we are doing a new segment called Basics and Beyond. And what I'm going to do is show you a few basics of the software. And then for the Beyond part, I have a little project of using some tools that for you. And our project, I'm just going to show it here really quick. It's not the actual bag, it's the actual stitching on here that I'm going to show you how to do not just curved text, but text on path. Now this little bag is made in the hoop, and it's by one of our members over on the Janome Artistic Digitizer Facebook page. Let me put that up. There you go. So you can go there, and in the files, you'll find it. It's by Catherine Mueller, and I want to thank her so much. She did this little bag, and we all loved it. So she was very kind to write some directions. Now, she does write in metric. So now if you're in inches, all you have to do is put her metric numbers in the boxes, followed by whatever metric it is. If she gives you, if it's 4 centimeters, put 4 cm, and then it'll convert it for you right there in the software. It's very easy and very fun. And if you haven't joined over there, please go over and join. There's a lot of information on that page under our guides tab. Now, also, I've decided this year I would do an overview list of my videos as we go each week. They look kind of like this. You'll find those over on the page also. And you can search over there for them. For the list here, let me look it up here. These are it's hashtag 2025 video list, and it'll give you the papers. And each week I'll add on the next part. So you don't really, if you don't want to print it right away, don't print it. You might want to wait till you get a couple of them. You can always save them. You can download them. They're PDFs. You can download and save them, and then print them out, as you get fuller pages. That's kind of what I would do. So those are going to be over on the page, and they are on hashtag 2025 video list. And then, of course, this video here stays on the page here, and I'll be putting it under videos, playlist, my name, Anne Hein. You'll see all my videos will be in there. So they're easier to find on the page here if you'd like to find them. Okay, I have a little bit of a little something in my throat here. So let me get this off the page. I can bring it back a little later if we need it. So as I said, we're going to be talking about this type of lettering in here, and I did it on this side also along the curve of the design. This is called text on path, and there's a very easy way to do it. You can do a squiggle, you can do a curve, you can make it match your design, and then you can play with your lettering a little bit. So I'm going to show you that. So let's get right to the lesson on the software, and then we will do the beyond part when we use the text on path. So let me open the software. Here we go. And there we go. All right, so when you come into your software, I'm going to move a few things out of the way here. When you come into your software, this is the welcome page. And a few things about the welcome page. If you're a new user, you do want to set right here your default machine, and here's your machine, brand and machine, and your default hoop. And you just select it. You only have to do it once, and it stays right there. Now, the other thing that you want to change is right in here is your fabric and embroidery choice. This is the fabric, and this is the embroidery choice down at the bottom. And when I open that, I have mine set at normal, and I do keep it on none because I like the white background. These over here, all these different fabrics are the same embroidery category. They just give you a little visual behind it. Now you're wondering, what is that embroidery category? So let me show you that. I'm going to close this here, and I'm going to go back to the camera so I can show you my sample. I do have a little sample here. And I went ahead, and there's 6 different embroidery categories, and it's based on the density of the stitch out. And so now you can change the density as you go along, yes, but you might want to start with a thick density or start with a light density. Now it's hard to tell on here, but this one here is the the ultra light, and then above it we have normal light, and then we have heavy, and then on this side we have I think that's, well, maybe I'm doing it in the opposite way. This has got to be ultralight here. So you can see there's, like, you can see through that one, and the others you can't. So as you get up here into the thicker ones up here. So I made myself this little sample so I could see the difference in them, and I can really feel the difference. This one is very heavy up here, so you can tell what they are. Now this is a really cool thing to do. You have to do your circle on a different page and change it on each page, and then you can bring them together so that they keep their piece. And I'm not sure what's going on with my throat. Everything was fine until about a second ago when I turned on the camera. Let me get a little sip here of water. And maybe that'll help wash it away. I don't know. But that's a good thing is to make a swatch sample of the embroidery categories. And you can look those up in the manual as well. So I usually do normal or smooth. Those are the two I like, the density. And it's based on thread weight, and it presets your density. Though, as I said, in your properties, you have total control of changing that. But maybe you're doing something where you want a thick embroidery. So why have to keep going in and changing your density when you can set that? You can actually set it on your work page too. I keep my default on normal, and then if I change it on my work page, there's a fabric tab. You can change it there. So you don't have to have that fabric background if you don't like it, that little fuzzy background. You can have normal, and it's a nice clear white, or you can click on that and you can change it to any color you like. So maybe you like to design on blue or purple or something, or black. You can do that. So you don't have that the texture of the fabric if you don't like it. So let's go back to the software. Here we go. Also on our cover page, these tabs over here is how we go into the program. And I always talk about browse a lot. So I'm not going to go there today. But I wanted to show you, these are your recents, anything you've worked on recently. You can come up to the corner and close them by clicking on the X right there. And of course, your videos are over on this side. Now, my properties and my colors are up here for some reason now. So I'm just going to close them so you can see how the whole screen would look. And I'll bring those back for you later so you can find that out. So we're just going to jump right in and go to Create New. All right, now you'll notice when you come into Create New, my screen does not have the grid, and you might notice that my hoop lines here, these are the center of your hoop and your hoop boundaries. Mine are black. So one of the things you can do, there's a couple things, one with the grid and one with colors. So let's look at the grid first, and then we'll drop back to do a couple other things. So up under, you can't see it on my Mac, but right up here, you want to go to View, and then you're going to come down here to Grid. Now grid, you can turn it on and turn it off with a shortcut key, and I'm going to show it here. So with a Mac, you're going to use Shift Command G. With a PC, it's Shift Control G to bring it on and off if you want to. I can turn it on here and it'll stay on the whole time I'm in here, and I could turn it off using the command keys if I wanted to. But you'll notice my colors are different than your colors, okay? And I'm going to zoom in. Whoops, I'm going to zoom in here so you can see that I have a green color, a kind of pink color, and a gray color. So kind of different from yours. You can change all of that in under the View tab. So let me show you that part really quickly. We'll go back up under View. We're going to go to Custom UI Colors. And when it opens, you get this little window here. So there's a lot of colors that you can change in here. We're going to look at the ones that are right down here, these three here: the grid major outline, the grid medium outline, and the minor. So when I zoomed in, that gray part's my minor, the pink is the major or medium, and then this is the major. So what you do is you just click on the color that you want to change, and you can move your little dot around the circle anywhere you like on here. And maybe I want it there. And you can change the brightness of it here, the intensity of that color, and then the transparency of it. If you'd like it more transparent, you can make it more transparent. And then when you're done, just click off, and it has changed your piece there. Let's go to this one. This is my kind of orangey pink one, I'm gonna move it into the hot pink area and then click off so you can see it did change. Let me zoom in so you can see it. It's not very bright, so I think I'm gonna go back in and intensify it a little bit, make it less transparent so I can at least there, I can see it a little bit. And then my minor ones are the gray. I'm gonna leave those there because I do like them there. So those are my colors. Once I get done changing anything here, I want to touch Save as Defaults so that it will save my changes. Now there's other things in there to change, and we can go over those as we go along in other lessons. I can show you some of that as well. The other thing I want to show you is I'm going to turn my grid off here. I'm going to come back up here to show you. When you go in here, you can also edit the size of your grid. So you can use the default, which I have, or you can make it a custom for whatever you want to use it for. So you have that option too. I like mine here, but you might want to be in 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch, or maybe you're working in one project and you just want to change it for that time. You can do that. So I'm going to go back to my view, back to the grid, and I'm going to turn it off. There we go. And one of the things, I always like mine to open up to just my hoop limits here, my hoop lines and hoop limits. And to do that, under View, once you get done with your changes, go right down here and select Save Current Workspace as Default. And then each time you open, it'll open to this. So you don't have to turn your grid off or grid on if that's what you prefer. You can set this any way you like, okay, on that part of it. So I tend to like it this way when I'm working. You can even make those hoop limits here even fade away more because you can change those under the Customize UI colors. Let me show you that. Hoop limits is right here. So again, if you wanted to make them very transparent, you could come down here like that and see they're much lighter. And I'm actually going to go back and put them, I like them a little darker so I can see them. And we'll just make them a little bit darker here. There we go. There. Okay, and this way maybe. And save it. There we go. All right, so that's kind of handy. There's times when you don't want those lines showing. All right, the other thing when you're first using your software, and I mentioned this at the beginning with the project because it's going to be, the directions are in meters, centimeters, and not inches. So you might, many of us work in inches, some of us like to stay in metric. You don't have to switch back and forth in the software. There's a way to just change it in your measuring box as you're going. But to change your software from inches to metric, if you prefer to be in inches, I prefer to be in inches. And to do that, on a Mac, you want to go up to the top left where it says Artistic and click on Preferences. If you're on a PC, you're going to go to your Tools tab up here on the top, and you're going to go to Options, and it opens the same window. All right. So on the very first one under General, right down here, yours probably says, if you haven't changed it to inches yet, it says to Imperial. That means you want to set it at Imperial, which is inches. So you just click there. If I wanted to go back to metric, I would just click metric here and OK, and I could change that. Now, the thing is, I'm just going to say OK. If you're in inches, all right, so let's select my box here. I'm in inches, you can see up here, but say someone was teaching me, had a lesson for me, and they said, your box needs to be 4 centimeters wide. So I'm going to put in 4 and then cm for centimeters and return. It auto adjusts it for me right up here, converts it. And then for the height, maybe that was supposed to be 6 centimeters. So I would just put that in there. Now, on the other side of that, if I'm teaching a lesson with inches and you're in metric, you just have to put in, let's say 2 IN, and it would automatically change it to that size and then convert it to metric in the little box. So you don't have to go back out and change it. And I think that's really important and very, very helpful on that part of it. Okay, the other thing I want to show you that sometimes when you're working, I'm going to select this to get rid of it. when you're working, you want to work maybe in a certain shape, or you want to have like a workspace that you're going to be working in. And under guidelines, we have what's called work area. You can make guidelines on here, but under work area, you can set up a work area. And then if this is the one I want, I would select OK. And there's my work area. And it's going to stay very centered, because if you look here in my positioning, I have the X and Y at 0, 0. So if I had changed the numbers here, I could put it up in this corner or wherever I wanted by changing the X and Y positioning there. I could do a circle or a polygon area. All right, so let me close that. And if you want to cancel that, you can just hit delete and it goes away. Another way to make a work area, and anytime you turn a tool on over here, make sure you come back up to the selection and click to turn it off. You can create a work area using any of your shapes tools. Oh, wait a minute, let me go back in here, get my circle. So say I want to use this as a workspace. I create it. I'm going to select it, right click, and down here it says use shape as work area. And I can click right there, and there's my work area. And then if I'm done with that work area, I have to go to guidelines, and you can see how it's selected now with green around it. Now I can delete it. It doesn't convert to stitches or anything like that. It's just a nice visual guide behind you to help you create your work. And sometimes I like that. I have a big hoop here, but maybe I'm trying to make a little bit smaller design. Maybe I'm going to copy it later on in my hoop, but this gives me a shape to which to work into. The other thing I want to talk about for setting up your software, so because this is our month to get organized, not only with our studio space and other things like that, but especially our software. We need to start out with some good habits and to work from there. So we're going to go back to Artistic and Preferences to open the options window. My PC owners, you need to go to Tools and Options, and you'll find it there. We're going to go right here to Palette Order. Now, under Palette Order, when you click yours, it probably does not look like this. It probably starts with some color that begins with A, because they're all alphabetized. And you can see how many we have. This is the full program. There's 111. I think the junior has about the same, probably has the same number. But you can do a couple different things. One, you can choose your default and that it's going to be visible. And then any of the other ones that you want to be visible, you can check. And then how did I get them all up here? Well, easily after you check them, even if it's down here, maybe it's this acronym I want to bring up, I can left click, hold, and I could drag it up and I can move it to a new spot. So if I did that, let's say okay. And then I'm going to turn on my colors. Now my colors are let's see if I bring back something, I don't have properties or colors over here. There's two ways to do that. One way, go up under your tools, or I'm sorry, view and toolbars. There you go. And you'll find properties and colors right there. And of course, there is a quick key for that. So I'm going to turn properties on. You can also come in this gray area up here and right click and turn them on here as well. So I'm going to turn on colors. Now, sometimes what happens, your menus end up in the wrong spot. Like I'm trying to make it go in. Let me see if my colors will do it. There we go. Oh, if I can bring it to the right spot. There we go. Sometimes they're like this and you don't want that. So if you just left click on the top bar here and drag, bring it over here, and it should expand to where you want it. Now I got to play the dance. There we go. Mine lay on top of each other. Let me get them in the same spot here. There we go. And I can toggle between them at the bottom here. And I don't have my software fully expanded. There we go. Let's put that on. There we go. You can make them half and half, or you can get them to be, there we go. And right down at the bottom here, I can toggle between them. So when I go into my colors, you can see the first one that comes up was Janome, because that was at the top of my list. And when I click on here, you can see my whole list of them. And these are only the ones I've checked off. Now, if you haven't checked any off and moved them up, you'll have your whole list to work through. So I usually bring the ones that I use to the top so that they're right here. I can switch between them. I do use a lot of Marathon. I have some Isocord. There's some other ones that I use as well. So I like to keep them in here. So if I need to change my color palette, I can easily do that. All right, so let me see if there's anything I missed on this to show you. I had a whole list of things. This way, really quickly, when you create in your software, let me move this back to center. When you create in your software and you're going to save it, okay, you want to go to File, or you can go to Save right here to save. But if you go to File and Save As, it'll open up your computer and you'll be able to, this would be on a PC, this would be your File Explorer over here, and then you would pick what folder you're going to put it in, and then subfolders, you can name it, and so forth. It looks a little different here on a Mac, but it's the same process. So I always save my files first. We did that last week. I talked about how I keep things organized with my designing. So right here, I would save it first as a draw until I'm finished with it. So when I first start, I will make a folder on my desktop and I'll save my designs into there as I go. And I may save the same design 2 or 3 times with different versions and number them so that I can go back to them. I don't have to delete stuff, or I'll have the original to go back to, or maybe I like the one that was 2 times ago. I can go back to that one. But you do want to save as a draw file first. And then when you're ready to save it as a JEF, you can use this drop down and pick a JEF. Now, if you were done with your design, let me just cancel this. If you are done with your design and you wanted to just go right to your machine or to a USB to take it to your machine, I would use my drop down right up here. And the drop down gives you all the options for your machine. If you have a cable connection and you're connected, you can use the cable connection. Wirelessly, you could go wirelessly. My CM17 isn't on right now, but I could go wirelessly, or I could go to my USB and it picks up my USB window. And it's not showing my my USB at the moment, only because I use that on my Mac. I'm using a USB hub. There we go. And let me close this. Okay, yes. There it goes. Let me go back to my design, and here we, yeah, okay, thank you. But I want to go to my design. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to go to my USB. It's going to open it. There's my USB. I want to select it. And then over here, I have, there's my eMBF. I don't use an eMBF. Many of us don't have to anymore. I can save it just in my EMB folder. That's what these are all out here in my EMB folder. Or I could go up a file, up a level, and save right alongside my EMB folder. We have a couple of machines that you can do that to. The CM17 at version 2.0, you can do that. The S9, you can do that. Well, no, the S9, you have to be EMB. You don't have to be an eMBF. The 500, 550E, you can save at this level, and the 15,000, you can save right alongside your EMB. The big thing is when you open in your machine, it opens like this, and everybody wants to touch their eMBF folder, and they didn't put it in there, so it's not in there. These designs out here are not in my eMBF folder. I don't know if I have anything in there. No, I don't, because I don't ever put anything in there. So you have to remember where you put it, and if you don't see it, there's an up arrow on your machine, and there's side-to-side page arrows as well. But if you have a favorite way of doing it, stick with it and do it that way. I've just discovered these other ways, and I really find it much easier. The other thing that's under the machine drop-down is this hoop, this here change. So here you can change your machine or your hoop. Now, when you change it here, when I select here, it does bring up my hoop icon over there, which this isn't going to work in here, but that's okay. My hoop icon is still on, so I can turn it off in a minute. If I want to change that to a bigger one, I don't want to hit the plus. The plus will give me another hoop. And if I select this, now I have 4 different hoops here. I do not want the plus, so I'm just going to X out these. I want to select inside there, and then it'll give me the hoops, and I could change to a different hoop that way. So I typically, because I'm working, I'll just go up here and I'll change it there. This is the other thing that's up there is our center to hoop. So it'll bring it right to the center of the hoop. So that shows you a lot of things right there. Okay, so let me go back. I want to show you the project that we did here. And first I'm going to show you what the project bag looks like when it's flat in the hoop. So this is the bag, and her instructions are very clear on how you do it. This is my bag template. So there's things that are sewn first, and then you would intersperse your embroidery, and then you would finish the bag. But I made a template so I can just pull this up again. So my bag looks like this. So here's one side and here's the other. And just quickly, because it's not about the bag, it's more about the lettering. There's 2 parts to placement and holding down your fabric. And then you're going to do all your embroidery here. Then you're going to add your lining and have that stitch on. And then you're going to do this final part here. So that middle part after these two, that's where you start your embroidery. Okay, so let me show you how I did this. I'm going to go back to my browser, and let's see. Oh, it's on my desktop. That's right. I did move everything here. Okay, here's my folder that I'm working in today. So I want to bring in this design here. And let me go back out here, and I'm going to make a copy of this one. And I'm just going to go to the page I'm working on and paste it. Maybe. Well, it just doesn't want to paste some days. Let's see if we go back here. Let's open it on a new page. Let's just copy and paste it here, because I want you to see them both on one page. There we go. Okay, so this design here is actually an embroidery design from the CM17. It's a couching design, and it's raw data. And what that means is if I wanted to, I can't make any changes to this. I can't edit nodes or anything like that unless I convert it to curves. And so to convert to curves, you can right click, convert to curves, and it changes it. It did make it a running stitch, but it does change it a little bit. It's wobbly here. You can see all that. I could come in here and select it. And now I can select edit nodes, and you can see all the nodes in there. So there's a lot of cusp nodes in here, which are corner nodes. So I could come in here and I could change these to either a smooth node like that or an auto smooth node like this if I wanted to, and then work around. But here's an easy way. If you don't want to change, I want them all to be the all one type. So I'm going to select the whole thing, and then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to make these smooth nodes like that. So, and this one is square because it's at the end and it's a locking stitch. So it kept pretty much the lines where I want them. Now, if I want to change them, I can move them. I could use the arrows like this if I like to work with arrows. Now, if you're one that doesn't like that, what you should do is select it again and try the auto smooth. There we go. So auto smooth doesn't have the arrows. So when you're moving your pieces, you can slide your little cusp along there, your little node along there. So you have different ways to do it. So sometimes I'll switch all of them over because I know I'm going to be changing a lot of them, and it's a lot of work to like keep deleting and adding and stuff like that. So I will do this. You can add a node to this if you want. So once I had it in the shape that I needed, I'm going to leave it at this shape. Once I had it the way I wanted it, then I went to my text tab to create this.
And let's go down here to the text tab. So when you're in the text tab, you have these true type fonts. These are ones that some of these I brought in. And then at the other end, you have the XPG ones. These are the pre-digitized fonts that come with your software. So I'm going to use my chalkboard one because I like that. And then I'm just going to click in here and I'm going to type in, I'm just going to type, I'm going to just type it crazy. Janome sews, like that. All right. And then I'm just going to click off of it. But then I want to go back into my text tab. I could have stayed in there, but I want to show you two things. One is envelope. These are pre-done shapes. So if I wanted to make it like that, I could, or none. So you can pick those. But over here, what I want to do is I'm going to use this one here, on user path. And what that does for me is if I want to put it here, I can use my outline shape tool and I can digitize a line out here like this and shape. And then I can select my line and my letters. I can right click and right down here it says apply path and it puts it on my path. Now, one of the things you can do is in your text tab, you have a couple of tools here. You have your baseline here, your text placement. So if you want it above the line like that, or you want to be straddling the line a little bit, or you want to be below the line, or way below the line, you can do all of those. I'm going to be right here right now. And then I can offset it on my line a little bit with these numbers here as well, with the offset. Here is where you can move it to, if you want it more centered, if you want it to the right. Full will spread out all your letters. Maybe you want that. So you have some options here. I think I'm going to go to centered. You have a lot of options here of how you can change that design. Once you're done with lettering, go ahead and click your selection tool. And then you don't need this line right here. Okay, you can delete that line. One of the things you can do is select your letters. And when you click on nodes, your line, you can now use your line to move your letters as well. So if you need to pull them out somewhere or make them move around to a different spot, you can do that. Once you're done, you can go ahead and delete this if you want. You can go in here and delete your, and I do have a funky letter right here. I have pretty small font in there today. So you can change that sometimes with stitch flow. There we go. So I went to stitch flow direction and I did the little direction there and it helped. This is a tiny font. I would play with this a little bit more. And I would also take away the outline because I wouldn't want an outline on there. Now, the other way the text on path works well is if I wanted to put a line of text like this. Maybe I was writing I don't know if I did one that way. Let me see what's in my browser. Here's one. I'll open this. So here is this is from Shel Silverstein, and I made my lines come up over my snowball, under my snowball. I made it go along this little design, and let me collect this design, and we'll take it to our new page here. Whoops. There we go. And let me move it down here. I'm going to delete this line because I don't want it. So I'm going to take my outline shape and I can click right along here. Now, if we have some junior users, couple things. You don't have text on path because you don't have the digitize outline shape tool. So you create your line and then you just go to your text and you can type your whatever you want. I'm going to make my font a little bit bigger. Okay. Janome Sewing School. There we go. And I'm going to hit there. I'm going to go, since I had text on path turned on already, when I go here, I'll find apply path and it'll go on my path. Now, it doesn't quite fill that. So let me go back to my text and I could do Janome Sewing School. Look at that. Great fun too. There we go. So it finished it off for me. So this is really fun to play with on that. So you can really get some different shapes and things on there. A few things I played with. I did this one here. This is a design in our CM17. I just made the arcs along here. Some designs, you can actually select the design and the outer line of the design can act as your path. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. So you may get a jumble up letters. You can always try it. There's a few designs I've played around with over the years that I've liked. Let me see what else is in here. Oh, I did this one here. So I made my path go along like that. So you can do that kind of thing as well. Let's see, I did my rocket. Now I brought this out because this is one of the designs in the CM17. I could take this part here, I could delete that, and then I could actually put in, a path of text here. Let's see, I'm just going to do that. And I could write my own little, this is a wedding thing. So maybe I would go to my text tab and I would write, let me just do it down here. Happy wedding, like that. And go to select my line. So I'm going to hit shift and select the line, apply path, and there it's on there. And then I could add something down here as well. This would be really cute. I think this would be really cute. This is like a little wedding pillow, and you could make a neat little embroidery just from that. Okay, so that'll give you quite a few things to work with. Let me go ahead and I'm going to bring the camera back on here. Here we go. There we are. All right, so that should give you a lot of things to work with. We worked on organizing our software so it works easier for us. And I showed you how to use text on path or user path. It's a lot of fun. Basically, you have straight text or line or text on a line that you can move it up and down, on a line, or you have a curve and you can move the curve. But this way, you have a lot of options with this, especially if you're trying to put lettering in a specific spot. You can follow that spot along with your Digitize Outline Shape tool. Okay, let me go back one time because I think on the tool itself, I just want to show you in case everybody understands how that works. Here's our tool. We want the outline shape one. At least that's the one I like. It puts nodes down. Now, for me, I'm under the default Digitize tool, and so it's left clicks for curves like this. If I want corners, I would shift and click. So when I let go of shift, it changes back to a curve. So you can do lines and then you could do curves. All right, so it's all left click and shift for me. The other, if you wanted to go ahead and look at that in your help files to see the different ones, you can do that under help files, look up Digitize Outline Shape or Context Tool, and you'll find the information there. There's different ones. Some of you came from our other software with right and left clicks, and some of you like to right click for certain things, so you can set it that way as well. They make it very easy. And see how I still have this hanging on the end here. I would have to right click and shape, and then to make sure it's still live because it's highlighted, if I clicked here, it's still live. I can hit escape to get out of there and selection. If I'm working around and I want to go back, I can hit backspace or delete and it goes back. So let me left click, right click, and shape, hit select so I'm totally not in that tool anymore, and I'll go back to the camera.
All right, so let me go ahead. I'm going to put up the, here it is, where our Facebook page is for the Janome Artistic Digitizer. You can search for it too by putting in Janome Artistic Digitizer and you'll find it. So go ahead and join over there. It's really easy. You can join so many pages too. This will help you learn your software and get real comfortable. We have some excellent people over there creating stuff just like this. This is such a cute little bag. I'm keeping my Artistic Digitizer notebook in there, so it fits right in here. I'm going to just stick it in. Perfect. Now I know where it is at all times. All right. Okay, everyone. Have a great day. Thank you for joining me in the studio. We hope to see you here again soon. Bye for now.